We're back for another segment of MITech TV, and I have Megan Story with me from Comerica Bank, Senior Vice President. And what was the rest of that title?
The director of small business for Michigan.
All
Yeah,
right.
get that all on a business card, right? So,
Yeah,
one of the things that we want to talk, well, what we're talking about today, in fact, is the Comerica Hatch Detroit contest that by TechTown that's back for its 12th consecutive year. And applications are now open for entrepreneurs seeking to open a brick and mortar space in Detroit. So it's Hamtramck and Highland Park as well. So
correct.
there's various ways you can apply, but you have to do it by February 16th. The main way to apply is to go to the website, which is hatchdetroit.com. So let's talk a little bit about, well, one of the things I know that changed a couple of years ago, it used to be, it's $100,000 program, but it used to be like first, second, and third places. Now it's the whole shooting match. Whoever wins gets the whole $100,000, which would catch most people's attention, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing that sets us apart, and one of the reasons why it's one of Detroit's most successful small business incubators is you mentioned it. It's been around for 12 years, but it's the mentoring, it's the technical support, it's the professional services. There are over 50 small business Hatch Detroit alumni that currently employ over 500 employees. So that $100,000 really makes a drastic impact into the Detroit and surrounding communities, such as Detroit, Hamtramck, and Highland Park. And that has actually created a direct $10 million economic impact to those surrounding communities. So that $100,000 really does go a long way.
So talk about the background of the competition. I know it's now close to 15 years old. How long have you personally been involved in it, and what do you think are the high points of it? What's been your experience?
Yeah, so I'm a banker by trade, so I'm familiar with Hatch Detroit for many years. I was fortunate enough to attend my first Hatch Off last year, which we got to see a combination of the top four finalists get to pitch in real time, very much Shark Tank style. So they have a panelist of judges, but they also allow for public voting, which is very unique. So really, the community has some skin in the game, and they get to say what retailers do they want in their community. Where do they want to frequent? Where do they want to shop small when they shop local? So this is very different to a lot of other programs that I've been seeing in the past.
So let's talk about, do you happen to know, or can you list some of the previous winners and what they're doing now? I imagine hopefully they're all still in business.
Yeah, they are. And some of them are still in the process of opening their storefronts. As you can imagine, being a small business takes a lot of grit, determination. And sometimes, that $100,000 just doesn't get them there. There's got to be remodeling costs. There's got to be, ramping up staffing and employees. So we're proud to say that we have very successful businesses such as the 27th Letterbrooks, Baobab Fare, Physica Massage, Sister Pie, LaFeria. And then we have last year's winner bouncing around Metro Detroit. She is currently in the process of opening her business and her location. And again, these are in the cities that we support and that the community can really go in and shop and think about where they want to service.
So are most of these entries, are they apparel retailers? Is it gift shops, food service? I mean, what kind of businesses have been,
Great question.
the most represented here?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So over the last 12 years, there's been almost 2,500 submissions. We have on average between 200 to 250. We're targeting around the 250 mark this year. I've seen anything from a roasting plant, coffee refinery that wants to open. I've seen a community bookstore where they're trying to give back to teach financial literacy and empower education through that. We've also been part of Busted Out Bra Shop, which has opened over 6 locations, not only here in Michigan, but also in the Chicago market. So it has been all different ranges of different small businesses, from, something truly from concept to creation, all different things. If you can think it, you can be it, right? That's the true entrepreneurial spirit that we're looking for.
Great.
And well, the deadline to apply is February 16th. A couple of months passes, and the hatch off, as it were, is May 9th. Now, if I recall from, because I've done this story multiple times, there's a public element where the public votes on folks, but I'm a little unclear about the details on that. Why don't you explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're absolutely right. This is a public, and this is for the community, right? So the submissions run through February 16th at noon. The top 10 will be announced on April 11th. Starting the week of April 12th, it will start public voting. We will narrow that down and have the top 10 announced publicly, and those will then get will get reduced to the top 4 finalists starting April 22nd, and then we allow those open again for public voting starting May 1st, with a culmination of the hatch off on May 9th.
So who
But
are
I
the
would
judges?
recommend, sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, for specific dates and times, I always say go to Hatch Detroit. That's the best place, right? Because if you're like me, you're doing 5 things at once, then you're probably paying attention to 3 different dates and all the numbers and all this. I would say Hatch Detroit has the best information for accurate dates and timing.
And
All
Matt
right.
and I, being journalists, we're creatures of deadlines. You know, you can give us a long lead time, but in the end, it's like the last couple of days when we actually get it done. So,
Yeah, pro
Yeah.
tip, tell us the deadlines a week before it actually is too.
yeah.
That's always a good idea.
So,
So do you have like entrepreneurial judges for the actual hatch off, or who's the judges at the event itself?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have entrepreneurs, those that are from past alumni have been participating judges. We have those within the financial community, professional services, mentors that plan on working with these businesses. So it's a combination of multiple facets. And we just want to make sure that everyone is representative. So they're really thinking through from the financial aspect to, you think about concept to creation to incubation, right? Those are various stages of any small business owner. And we want to make sure that we have the support and we have the sustainability for them to be successful for the long term.
all right. And so you guys, not you personally, but Comerica has donated $1.1 million since 2012. Is that right?
Yeah, $1.1 million. And so that $100,000, it really ties into, this is our 175th year. And we want to make sure we're giving back to the community that's been supporting us. So we're celebrating this and we're in it for the long haul. So I hope to double and quadruple that $1.1 million number that's been given so far.
Hmm. Yeah, I know. I've been to a lot of these pitch competitions over the years, and it really is, they're a lot of fun to watch, just to come in off the street and watch them. And you really get the idea, it starts to sink in that the people who can make a charismatic elevator pitch are also going to be charismatic business leaders. I mean, that's why, when I'm telling people, what's a good idea to skills develop to start a small business, I'm like, work on those presentation skills. Honest to goodness, it really is important.
Yeah, I would say work on the presentation, but also know your numbers, right?
Yeah.
Know that you're going to be employing, people that have families and have lives and rent payments to make. So you really have to have a strong financial picture and analysis as well.
And as one who has been doing my own small business now, well, actually, I've had multiple small business, but this iteration, been doing this for 22 years. It's not for the faint of heart. Everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to get in business and make all this money, and da, 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 da. It's the hardest job you'll ever have. And you're probably only making minimum wage when you figure all your hours in. And so I always warn people, I hear it all the time, oh, I'll just start a business. And I go, well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And the financials are really critical because the cash flow is uneven, as you know, as a banker, right? But I mean, you got to have passion. So that's really the key, I think, is if you don't believe it's going to happen, it ain't going to happen, right?
Yeah, and I'm really glad you said that. And thank you for being an entrepreneur yourself. It is not for the faint of heart. And it is not rolling in the money. You are working long, tireless hours. I've always said either one of the reasons why a business is established, it's for passion and for profit. And hopefully somewhere in the middle, those two things should meet, because you might have an amazing concept, but if it can't be scalable and sustainable and there's no profitability to it, it's going to be very, very difficult to make a living. And so I just want to encourage everyone, if you've got an amazing idea, you have something to share, just think about that. Work with advisors, work with the panelists, the mentoring, the technical support. All those services and features are available to you. Definitely take advantage of them.
I also wanted to ask you, as a banker, what attracted you to working with small businesses? as opposed to some of the other clients that a bank might have?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and it really is my passion. I'm excited about it. I feel like, and I say this with all sincerity, is we have one of the best jobs. We get to help impact our community. We get to offer advice and services. Maybe that's not always listened to, but we get to offer that advice, and we get to have a financial impact to those in our community. I've had the privilege of seeing, something start off small and work its way up, and it's being sold to large corporations, right? And that's just a joy every single day. Sometimes the conversations are difficult and challenging, but more often than not, they're exciting, and it's just invigorating to do this.
All right, Matthew. I mean, once more, it's hashdetroit.com, but I'll let you do the rest of the honors.
All right. So thanks very much. We want to thank Hatch Detroit Comerica Bank and Megan Story for being with us here today. Thanks so much for what you do. And it is, once again, it is hatchdetroit.com, correct?
Hashdetroit.com, that's it.
Okay. Thanks very much, Megan Story from Comerica Bank. We'll be back.